post-edit Zenobia, guys. So this is part 2 of my conversation coffee break with Mike from Charm City Paranormal. Again, we clicked, we chatted, I just kept recording. So before you listen to this, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the podcast feed and go back and listen to part 1, where we dive all into haunted Maryland and some of Mike's adventures, paranormal investigating in Maryland, with some of the deep dive stuff into stuff on his channel. And make sure you subscribe to his channel because it's like a really good thing. Like, Maryland's one of those haunted places, and we get all into Forest Haven Asylum, which, you know, we may or may not be taking a trip to soon. I don't know. I don't divulge such things. But without further bullshit from me, guys, here is part 2 of my conversation with Mike from Charm City Paranormal. It's me, Zenobia Darling. You're listening to #RockstarLife, the Coffee Break podcast. Let's go. Where the hell's my cold brew at? All right, so let's divest from haunted Maryland. I want to get into paranormal pop culture with you.
Okay.
So I want to give your takes. So we kind of already talked about Zak, Ghost Adventures. Do you watch a lot of those shows? Do you consume paranormal content?
I do, but very select amount. It's so... I hate to say it this way, and I'm so sorry to all my friends that do listen to this that think I'm like hardcore fans of your work. I am, and I love you guys, but I don't watch your videos as much as you think I do. And it's only because you have to look at it from like a musician's perspective. People who play music and write music and they're a full-time musician, unless you go to them and you say, hey, I really want you to listen to my new song, they're not going to go out of their way to seek it out. So because I live in this world and I do it every single day, 24/7, if I'm not reviewing EVPs or footage, I'm planning investigations or talking to
editing
people,
stuff.
or I'm editing, like I'm just consumed by it all the time. So unless somebody reaches out and they're like, hey, I really want you to watch this, I will absolutely do it. I will stop what I'm doing right then and there. I'm like, show me what you got. But seeking it out, I don't. I love Ghost Adventures because it's super entertaining. It's so entertaining.
Oh, yeah. Well, being a stand-up comic and like also studying reality television, I would always have shit on. I'm getting like that now because now that I've kind of gotten into the paranormal, I'm like, something just happened, right?
Something just shook my chair.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's something peeking over.
I just felt my chair go like that.
I don't know what the fuck's happening today. This is the first time it's been very active in here. Oof.
Look at the hairs on my arm.
God.
They're standing straight up. That doesn't happen very often.
I bet you it's probably the damn haunted dolls again.
It's
probably those guys.
How'd you guys get all the way up here?
Yeah. That's what we can't figure out either. Why they're in fucking Baltimore. Like, you guys are from Western Mexico. Like, what? I don't know. But like, so I'm got to that point, especially with like filming Ethereal Anarchy. I'm like, I don't want to watch this stuff because I also feel like it taints it. I'm like, I still watch it to make fun of it. I mean, if Ghost Adventures puts out a special, I'm going to tear the fuck out of it. Like, I can't help it. I'm going to be shady. Like, Zak is such just an entertaining, compelling person to make fun of.
He is. He's very entertaining. He has nailed, as far as like paranormal entertainment goes and being engaging and you wanting to watch what happens on TV. He has mastered the art. He is the most entertaining paranormal investigator that we have. Period.
Well, I think I'm more entertaining than him.
He is one of the most entertaining.
Well, you know what it is? It's because he has a drag quality to him. And I don't think people pick up on that. I'm like, he's a fucking drag queen. Like, it's totally there.
He's got theater kid in him for sure. 100%. There is theater kid there. And I think that's also what adds to the entertainment factor. One of my favorite episodes of theirs is Goatman's Bridge.
Oh, God.
Aaron gets launched 10 feet through the air, and now all the cameras are focused on Aaron. So now Zak is suddenly getting possessed and choking himself. That's my favorite episode. The funniest shit I've ever seen.
God, that's the thing. Just smoke a blunt and sit there and die. My favorite is funny. Stardust Ranch, where they start dealing with like aliens and the guy at the katana that killed one of them. Because that was the one where Zak kind of broke the fourth wall, and it's very rare for him to break the fourth wall. And he was like, is this shit for fucking real? Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, looking right into camera. And he left it in because I was like, that shit cracks me up to this day.
Yeah, as far as entertainment goes, they're very entertaining people. I don't personally take it serious because
I don't know.
I do this, so like I know the reality of it. But Entertaining wise, hell yeah, they're so entertaining.
Yeah.
I could definitely throw them on in the background doing chores or something and just get a couple laughs in, and not like in a disrespectful way. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
well, that's what I tell people. It's like, I might come for Zach. Like, if it comes, I'm a stand-up comic first and foremost, like when it comes to performing and making fun of people.
Yeah.
If I don't make fun of you, I don't make you into my stand-up comedy, I don't have respect for you. Like, it's one of those things, like, I have respect for him for what he does.
Yeah.
Do I think he's the most ethical? No. Do I, like, do I want to meet him? Absolutely not. But, like, like, I'm good. Like, I still have respect for him, and he's, I make fun of him. It's a sign of respect.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like you get paired on SNL, like, actually, I just started doing TikTok, and one of the TikTok videos that blew up was I went as Zach for a Halloween, and I was with my best friend who is a film person. I was like, "Can you film me?" I was like, I need a whole skit of Zach there, and like, it like blew up, and I was like, lovely.
Nice. I mean, he's super entertaining, and he knows it. He knows what he's doing. He wouldn't keep doing
the way
it.
to the bank.
Yeah. I mean, when you think of ghost hunting or paranormal investigating, he's the first person that comes to mind for most people, or the Warrens.
I was just going to ask about the Warrens.
Yeah, like when you look at a lot of these people that either get they get shown in a bad light or good light, or people are down the middle with them, regardless of how you feel about any of these people, I wouldn't be here without them. You wouldn't be here without them. None of this stuff would exist if it weren't for these people willing to go through the things that they go through to get their media out to the masses. So,
well, what are your thoughts on Ed and Lorraine Warren? I just recently did a deep dive on them because I was like, I don't know, I was like homesick, and I just watched all the 3 Conjurings. I'm not really a film person. I like reality and unscripted things.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck it. Like, I know who these people are. I know these cases. Let's see how they butchered it.
Yeah.
And then I went into a deep dive into Ed and Lorraine Warren. I was like, he has an art background, which I find interesting.
Yeah.
And she kind of struck me as, I don't know, there's something off with her that her energy wise that I pick up on. I don't think it's bad, but like, I don't know. There was a lot there.
Yeah, and I personally haven't done a lot of research on them just because of the people that there's a handful of people in the paranormal community whose opinions that I respect, and I take their word for it as far as when they say things. And just having this similar conversation, Ed and Lorraine Warren gets brought up. I'm like, what do you think about it? And they're very neutral about their response. They're not talking shit or putting them down or anything like that. They kind of feel the same way that not everybody, but most people feel about Zach, in the sense of like, they helped pioneer a genre and create a community around this stuff, but they are not the end all be all solution to what we are trying to achieve here. So I respect what they did as far as getting this stuff more mainstream and making it more accepting for future generations. But as far as their work goes, a lot of it has already been proven to be either over-exaggerated or just straight up lies.
Everything was a fucking demon. Like, and they also demonized any form of witchcraft, any form of like Ouija boards, all that shit. And that was stuff that really stuck out, that was like kind of pissing me off, because I was like, no, like, I'm going to use my tarot deck. Like, fuck off.
Yeah. And I think a lot of with paranormal in general, it should be more of a focus on growing spiritually as a person, as opposed to leaning into a specific religion. Yeah. And not knocking anybody that has their faith or their religion. People are entitled to do whatever they want. But I think that as a paranormal investigator, we should be growing spiritually in all aspects.
Because we're spiritual beings having human experiences, and it makes sense that we have, like, you have, like, I've grown so much the more I got into the paranormal.
Me too.
And it's one of those things I don't think people talk about. It's like, it's not a religious thing, but like, I do not have a fear of death. I do not have a fear of the afterlife or any of that stuff from doing this. And I'm kind of like, it made me a lot more freer to do whatever the fuck I want now.
Yeah. And I think that aspect of religion being so heavily pushed from the Warrens, because, I think, weren't they Catholic or Christian?
Deeply Catholic.
Catholic. Yeah. So like having that narrow worldview. Yeah. And I think that's what it is. Respectfully, it's a very narrow worldview to tie yourself down to just one religion, in my opinion. Yeah. And for them to, I guess, throw this into the mainstream the way that they did and make investigating this massive thing that it is now is great. But on the other hand, they also they narrowed it down to everything being demonic because of their worldview. Yeah. So yes, thank you for making this huge. You know, the Warrens are synonymous with paranormal investigating, but at the same time, I don't use them as a reference point. I don't use them as like a what's the term I'm looking for?
Like
a launch pad, so to speak. You know what I mean? I don't start my investigating because of the Warrens.
Well, this is the thing that this goes back to Zach too. People watch them and then they start mimicking them when they investigate instead of developing their own style. And that's what I'm like, you need to go out there, like work with many people. You will develop your own style. Do not try to be Zach. Do not try to be Ed and Lorraine. Do you, because that's what's going to give you the most compelling evidence. You're going to grow more as a human. And it's, I don't know, that annoys the shit out of me when people just copy them.
And it makes you stand out more too as an individual, because why would you want to spend months or years of your life being an investigator, and then eventually one day your name grows to the point and people go, oh, I remember you. You remind me of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Yeah. You remind me of Zak Bagans. Like, you don't imitate people because you want their success. Yeah. Imitate them because you were inspired by what they're doing, not how they're doing
and how it filters in with your stuff. Because when I don't know if you saw Ethereal Anarchy, there's very moments. Oh, you did watch it?
Yeah, I watched it last night. It was great.
We'll ask for your thoughts on it. But like, because we're still in the middle of re-editing it to like really perfect it. But there are moments in there where I'm giving off a very big Zak Bagans vibe. Yeah. And I even comment on it because like once Joe came through, like, I was saying that because I'm like, me and Joe, we used to sit there and make fun of that dude more than more than a Real Housewife. Yeah. And like, but there were moments even editing, I was like, yo, I'm like, that's Zach right there coming out of me. Like, it was scary. But at the same time, you saw where my own original, like, you saw me come out.
Oh, you were very uniquely you. And I think that a lot of people miss that because they watch these shows and, you know, you don't, people who are just consumers of content don't take into consideration editing, angles, new takes, all this stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Yeah. The video that you're watching in front of you is the final result of like tons of editing and cutting and we got to redo this and reshoot that. So like you're getting this tailored experience of what they want you to perceive. So that's not always the truth. And if you're going and watching this and treating it as an absolute and then carrying that into your investigations, you're not going to get what you expect.
Yeah, because you're basing it off of a farce of not a real thing.
Like, oh, if I act like Zach, I'll get this evidence, so I'm going to act like Zach. Or
well, how many people, there was an episode of Kindred Spirits where they were dealing with a home, and it turned out to be this 90-year-old woman who died in the house, and they had a team go in and antagonize the fuck out of her and pissed her off. And it's like, you literally just yelled because you yelled at a 90-year-old woman who's literally still in her house that she lived in for 50 years of her life because you're trying to be Zach. Like, let's really look into that. And like, you look like a real dick. Like,
respect goes a long way in this stuff. And I think if you treat spirits with respect and you actually believe that there is something there that you are supposed to respect, you will get results. Yeah. It takes time. Yeah. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. But if you practice and you're consistent and you truly believe in your heart and your mind that you're showing these people respect, because most of them are just people, they're just not here anymore. Yeah. You'll get better evidence and results. Yeah. Don't go. And it's like walking into somebody's house and screaming at them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You don't
go
do
into
that.
A stranger's house.
And then you wonder why they get pissed off and why they're going to fuck with you. And it's like, look what you did. Yeah. And it comes to the point, because I've gotten this with, especially up in Half Degrees, many of the ghosts have started to know my personality. They're also good time, like party theater people. We can I can be a little antagonistic and be a little shady, and they'll throw it right back at me. And it's like, but that has taken me building the relationship with these spirits. Exactly. Because I've been like, people have talked about that before, like, especially with Jeremiah at the State Theater. They're like, you're a little kind of a dick to him. And I'm like, that's how we interact. Like, he was a like shady, like, I'm pretty sure he was gay. And like, he was a performer. And I'm like, that's our love. That's how we show respect to each other. And it's like, that's when you can kind of be a little antagonizing, but I still have respect for Jeremiah. It's like, that's the thing that I don't think people realize. You can't go in and just right off the bat be a dick.
No, it's like building relationships in the real world. You know, you're not going to meet somebody for the first time and give them 100% of you the very first time you guys meet. Well, most normal people don't do that, but you build a relationship with somebody over time. You know, you show them little pieces of you, and then eventually you get to know this person.
Yeah.
And they get to know you. And it's the same thing with the spirit world. That's why we revisit locations time and time and time again. It's not just a one and done, because they're still there. They still have a story to tell, and maybe we miss details. So we try to build rapport with them, and that you can do that anywhere with anyone. If you're just respectful, truly respectful in your mind and in your heart, you know that you're not here to cause any problems or treat people like shit.
Yeah.
You'll get results.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people don't realize this. Like, yeah, they're dead, so I can talk to them however I want. No, you can't. They can still hear you. They can still feel what you're saying. It'd be the same as, would you want me to talk to you like that because you're here and alive?
Because a lot of these people, I'm like, if you talk to me like that, I'm going to get in your face and probably get aggressive with you. Like,
you're going to get it right back.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't fuck around like that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, as far as the Warrens and Bagans goes, I think that they were great for introducing this to a massive population of people that would have otherwise ignored it. But as far as anything beyond that, I don't really have an opinion on them. Thank you for making this so popular. But
thank you for doing it.
Yeah, it's entertainment at best for me.
Yeah. Well, kind of keeping on the Warrens, there's a lot of drama going with the Conjuring House.
Oh, man.
Which, I don't even know. Like, I forget who it is. Someone has been, like, reposting shit on Facebook constantly about it.
Jason,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the hell?
I try to avoid that stuff like the plague, because it's a waste of time, and there's no shortage of drama in the paranormal community.
But God, yes. Oh my God. It's so, that's the other thing is I'm like, I come from like, well, we're going to Vanderpump Rules. I come from Real Housewives. Like, that's what my thesis is in. I'm used to that conflict, personal relationship drama. And I'm like, how many of these reality shows need to be that style of show? It just happens they're ghost hunting. Because the level of drama in every single paranormal group, like, and me, Megan, and Bricks made that point at the very beginning. We will not, I'm not about that. We're not having that. I mean, just like the level of drama, it's insane.
That's why I only work with one other person.
Yeah.
And like, that's why you haven't seen anybody else added to the team. You haven't seen us form into a group. It's me and one other guy.
Yeah.
Because David is chill as fuck.
Yeah.
He's one of the chillest, nicest, calmest people I've ever met. And it's been great for me.
Yeah.
Because I've been surrounded by drama so much that it's like kind of rubbed off a bit. And when I get around him, he's like, I don't want anything to do with that. And I'm like, you got it, boss. So he's good for helping get me away from it, because I swear it's like every day we wake up and it's like, what are we mad about today, guys?
Yes.
Who upset who
Who's
today?
Fighting who? Who disrespected who? What
faked
turf wars happening?
Who faked what? And who said
and
this?
And then there's weird shit where like, this person wants to have all the evidence from this place and gatekeep this location from this team and the other team. It's like, I'm like, guys, like, drag queens don't have this much drama.
These
like,
are adults, mind you, too.
These are full-grown adults in, like, 40s and 50s,
Some
like,
of them
out of high school, parents, like, and it's literally, like, it turns into freaking high school.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, and, I mean, the Conjuring House drama is no different. I just think that, to summarize that, I think it's somebody who needs severe help. Who needs help.
Yes.
And it's no disrespect to her or her situation. I don't care what she has said.
I'm sure she knows it.
Yeah, I don't care what she said. I don't care what she did. I don't have any opinion on her other than please get some help. Please talk to somebody. You have a massive legacy underneath you right now that you are burning to the ground because you are not getting help. Yeah. And you are you're just making us look worse. You're already, like, people don't take us serious.
That's what I'm so tired of with the paranormal communities. It's like, they're all because of this bullshit drama, because of the crazies that get involved with it. It's like legitimate ones like me and you, it just ruins it. And it's like, I have to sit there when I'm trying to get an investigation going on. Like, I have to explain what I mean by ethical. And then they, of course, with me, they see the comedy, they see the drag queen, and they already have like weirdness about it. And I'm like,
preconceived notions.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, it's not that. Like, even when I was a drag queen, like, you can talk to many of the Baltimore queens. I'm cool. Like, I'm not, like, there might have been like one or two fights. no, like I'm not about that. And also like I'm not afraid to like if someone's making me uncomfortable, I'm gonna say it, right? I'm not gonna sit there and be petty and
yeah, but most people don't like that.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the drama seems to come into play because if you have boundaries and you express those boundaries, it doesn't matter how you express them. People just don't like when you have boundaries.
It's weird. It's weird.
It's like, oh, I have to respect you this certain way. Well, I'm not going to respect you at all.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what my experience with it has been, because I very much am just like a live and let live.
Yeah.
Don't involve me in anything. And because I've had to express boundaries to people over the years, they don't like that. So then it gets turned into they're a professional victim now.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
a piece of shit.
They're a martyr.
And
You're the
yeah. So it's just there's no shortage of it.
Been
but
there, done that.
it's the same. Like this whole Conjuring House situation is.
What do you think is in that house?
I don't know. Honestly.
Do you think that it could be affecting that woman?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, because she already has a history of substance abuse from what I know. This is just public information. I'm not making accusations.
And it's all alleged. I'm a drunk drag queen.
Yeah,
it's
alleged.
You know, it's 2:00 a.m. on like a Tuesday. So
yeah, it's just allegedly that she already has, mental health issues and substance abuse issues,
which makes people more susceptible to darker entities.
Exactly. So if there is something evil in there, and she's always there, she doesn't live there though. That's the thing.
Well, then it almost like she's an attachment to it.
Yeah, because the original owners that sold to her lived in the house. They lived
How
like
could you
all
live
on
in
the
that
opposite
house?
end of the house.
I could not.
They were only there for like 2 years and they sold. They couldn't do it anymore. But the new owner, she doesn't even live there, I don't think. So I don't know if her constantly being there is causing some kind of effect on her. I've never seen anything like this publicly, honestly. Like just such a shit show of information and
you can read the
back and
Yelp
forth
reviews. I mean, it's like it's horrendous.
The Yelp reviews, the YouTube videos, the Facebook statuses. I mean, she was writing the full character limit that you could type on a status on Facebook and posting it on the official Conjuring House page, where like 30,000 people can read this, and it's just like this insane rant.
I can feel a stand-up set coming on about this.
It's just completely incoherent. Like none of it made. You're reading it and you get 4 or 5 sentences in. You're like, what the hell am I reading?
God, that's a shame.
And yeah, it's really sad
because
you can tell she needs help.
They turned the business license. They revoked it, right?
They revoked it, and then apparently they brought it back. Apparently she got it back somehow, like a few weeks after that was announced. I don't know. After the whole situation with her accusing Jason Hawes of trying to assassinate her, I completely checked out.
Well, that was when I was like,
no. After that, I checked out. I was like, this is too much.
Getting too dark.
Yeah,
because there's like fun, crazy, and then there's just like fucking crazy, and it got to that level where I'm like. And we're good. Yeah,
my popcorn started to get a little stale after that. Like I was sitting there just, sit back, eating, watching, and then she's like, Jason Hawes is trying to assassinate me. I was like, yeah, this lady needs help. I don't want any more of this.
Prime example of this is like when all that drama came out with Zak allegedly trying to like cancel like Destination Fear and all that stuff, and then Dakota Lading came out, and then Nick Groff came out. That's the type of drama that I'm like, okay, this is what I mean by this world is like Real Housewives. And I'm like, this is I'm taking in.
That's one thing.
When it starts getting into like this person's trying to kill me, that's when I'm like, the psych ward is over here. Please get yourself help.
Get help. Yeah, I don't even like to entertain that kind of stuff because you're starting to step into the realm of mental instability and mental health.
Then it just
I don't have an opinion on that stuff when it comes to other people because I don't know what she's going through. I don't know her life. I don't know anything about her.
But I wish her well.
Yeah.
I wish her well.
She's the owner of the Conjuring House. That's all I know. And apparently she's just kind of fallen off the deep end a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I hope that eventually gets settled and either she gets help
or a new person comes gets it. And because I mean, they're sitting on a cash cow, especially with the Conjuring series. The actual house, like I'm sure you can make bang from that.
Yeah, I think they're booked out almost every night, like every other night. It's like half
the people can't even stay there because then she's accusing them of bringing dark shit in, and it's like
I didn't even know all that.
I read some of the Yelp reviews. There was one where one guy went in there, paid. She's coming in saying, "Oh, I can feel your energy. You're bringing dark shit in," and kept interrupting their session, and he got pissed and he kicked him out at like 10:30 at night.
Wow.
And I was like, they paid a good bit to book that location.
Yeah, just a word of advice for anybody here that plans on booking investigations in the future, credit card it.
Yes.
Always credit card all of your investigations because the credit cards, they will instantly reverse the transaction and then investigate. your debit card, you're gonna have to fight that shit. And if that happens to you and you get kicked out, it's your word against theirs. Don't risk it. Seriously, there are so many good locations around here with incredible owners who will not do that. I didn't even know that was a thing. I had no idea. That's awful. Because it's expensive. And it's even more if you're a content creator. They charge like 3 or 4 separate fees. You have to pay a fee if you have over 10,000 followers. You have to pay the fee to investigate it. You have to pay you have to sign a paperwork and pay an extra fee to film it. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
It's cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
That's robbery.
Yeah.
All right, ad break. I gotta pay for all this damn coffee I'm drinking and tea I'm spilling.
What's up, art lovers? It's me, Zenobia Darling. Did you know I'm more than just a drag rock star? I'm also a very accomplished painter photographer, and you can check it all out on ZenobiaDarlingCreative.com. Sponsored by the Harford County Cultural Arts Board, my blog, #RockstarLife, the arts blog. It explores all my creativity right when it crashes into local culture. Explore my neo-expressionistic fine art, my editorialized goth photography, and this is the best part. You can buy my original paintings, and you can spruce up your boring-ass walls, because every wall needs some glittering Zenobia Darling on them. So go check out Zenobia Darling Creative. The link is in the episode description. Ooh, what's up, Glamazons? It's Zenobia Darling. And you know my rock stardness doesn't just happen, right? It's crafted to perfection at Odyssey Salon and Day Spa in Aberdeen. Let me spill my secret. Abby, my badass stylist, is the mastermind behind my iconic glittering blonde mohawk. Whether you want to spike it up, smooth it out, dye it a killer shade, or just add that extra edge to your hair, the crew at Odyssey have the magic to make you feel like the superstar you truly are. And it's not just about hair. They keep my nails sharp, my skin polished, and every visit is an absolute blast. And here's the best part, my darlings. Odyssey isn't just about looking fierce. It is a safe space where us LGBT folks can feel right at home, shining as our truest selves. So if you're ready to live your own #Rockstar life and embrace your creative spirit, get yourself to Odyssey Salon and Day Spa in Aberdeen. Tell them Zenobia sent you and show the world how fabulous us rock stars look. And you never know, you might run into yours truly. The link to book your visit to unlock your fabulosity is in the episode description. Hey there, ghost-loving rebels. It's Zenobia Darling, your paranormal punk rock queen. We premiered my newest art film, Ethereal Anarchy, Zenobia Darling's Haunted Revolution, on November 1st with my opening reception of my immersive art exhibition, The Paranormal Realm Beyond the Lore. Let me tell you, Part 1 of this film captured one of the most profound paranormal experiences I've ever had, and it was met with roaring applause and accolades. And yes, we filmed it in true punk rock fashion to bring you even more content. But Huns, the revolution is just getting started, and we need you to bring part 2 to life. We have so much more content from part 1 that we want to include, plus we're actively filming for part 2. So we're pushing paranormal storytelling to the edge in true aspirational punk rock fashion. Your support fuels every haunting moment of this journey. From ghost hunting gear to fair crew pay, every dollar you contribute keeps things spooky and queer just the way it should be. Join the Haunted Revolution. You can find the link to our GoFundMe in the episode description and help us raise the dead and the funds. The one place that I actually do respect is South Pittsburgh Hospital.
They're great.
Like, I love that he's like, you can come in and film, but we're reviewing it because it's going to be accurate. We're not having people make shit up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that's the way it should be. Like, I have a lot of respect for that. That building.
It's got to be exhausting. I have to watch all those videos all the time and approve stuff.
And some of those people are bad content creators. Like, I don't mean to be shady, but I'm watching and I'm like, I'm bored after 3 minutes and like, I'm like, you know,
That's how I feel about a lot of content too. That's why it kind of goes back to what we were saying about seeking it out. I just, I live it.
Well, let's get into Ethereal Anarchy. Let's get into my content. We talked about yours.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about Ethereal Anarchy?
Well, first of all, it was shot beautifully.
Thank you.
It was amazing as far as the camera work, the color grading, and just the pacing.
There's
all the
still some
angles.
tweaks we got for it.
I can tell that you put a lot of time and energy and effort into it. My only suggestion would be to get lav mics. Because
we had them.
Oh, you did?
We only had 2 though.
Ah, okay.
And so like I was wearing one all the time because I told him like I need to be filmed all the time.
Yeah. Because you came through super clear.
Yeah.
But there were like moments where I'd have to turn it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, it was shot amazing. The evidence was great. It was, I'm more so focused on the camera work and like the quality of the footage itself. I don't know, my brain, like, I can't tune into the evidence. I'm just looking at like the visual of it, and it was shot beautifully.
Yeah.
It was really good. I was entertained the whole way through. I loved it.
Thank you.
Was the very beginning where you're like starting to get the tour with the one lady downstairs, was that a bit?
Yes.
Okay, I had to make sure because when I started watching that the very first time, it took me a couple minutes for it to click in my brain that was a bit, because I watched. I'm like, God, he's being an asshole. Why is he? And I'm like, wait, it's a bit.
Zenobia. Like Zenobia is a fucking asshole, just being ridiculous.
But that clicked, and like 2 minutes later, I'm like, oh wait, he's supposed to be like this. Okay, never mind.
Because you see where the mask. Because people don't realize it. Like I have Kennedy Center like accolades for my acting. Like I'm a top-notch actor. I've done stage, film.
Yeah.
I constantly am performing. And that was something that like when we got there, like some of the crew didn't realize I was acting, and they literally thought I was being a dick. And I was like,
well, you had me convinced too. Like I didn't, were they in on it? Were they all?
They knew, but I didn't think they knew the level of how much of a method actor I am, and but then when the mask came off, like when Joe came through, like we were watching it, editing it, and I was like, you can tell the mask came off. You can tell I'm not acting anymore. And you can see where like all that like craziness, like you can see me coming out.
It was just a switch instantly. I saw the switch and I was like, oh shit, this must be
There's one moment in the seance scene. Like I think it's when I looked in the camera and I'm like, this is getting real personal. Like I could tell, I'm like, that's when it broke.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's cool that you can see it in there. And then I had the legendary meltdown.
Yeah, because I the first 2 or 3 minutes when you get into the building and you're like, I gotta smoke. I'm like, is he doing this on purpose? Like it's gotta be a bit, right? And then eventually it clicked, but you nailed it, man.
Zenobia is I was very
convinced that you were actually being that way when you're not. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was shot beautifully. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you got to meet Joe. Joe came through twice when we just did an Estes method. Yeah. So he's around. I mean, that whole thing has been so nuts to me. Like the fact that he came back. I've never that is a part of my life I've never talked about. We literally went into that place just to investigate the mansion, do like a 30-minute like art documentary, and then that shit fucking happened. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. It was intense.
We do want to take you back to the farmhouse.
I want to go.
Me and Nicole want to take you back. Like we definitely like. That's something we're trying to work out for like January, like, but the farmhouse itself, like me and Nicole actually went back in there because I actually left an EMF meter in there. So we like, and like her office is in Catonsville. And so it was like a Friday. It was like in August. No, this was after we filmed. So it was the middle of September. Went in there, got public safety to let us in. The security guard was like, I'm not going in there. And we're like, why not? She's like, I've had experiences. And of course, I'm like, what are they? Tell me. She's like, I don't believe in any of that. And I was like, hold up, stop. You do believe in this stuff. You're terrified to go in this fucking building. And then you're telling me you don't believe. I was like, the fear is telling me you do believe.
She didn't want to elaborate.
Yeah. And I was like, tell me. And then she was like telling me how there was like, she's like, I go in there, do a round, and she's like, I'm hearing stuff. I'm hearing people talking in this room. She's like, I saw a shadow figure right here. That place is so fucking crazy. And one of my friends, he actually listens to the podcast. He used to work for the college and had his office in that building. And he's told me, he's like, it was insane. It was insane because no one works in there anymore.
Actually, I told my friend David about it.
Yeah.
I told my friend about the farmhouse. He's like, are you talking about the one in Catonsville? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, man, that place has some crazy energy. I've walked by it when I was younger and just, you can feel it from the outside. Like I haven't even been in there. I'm like, well, we might be able to get in there if you want to go. So he's aware of it.
We definitely, because the Hilton Mansion has stuff, but like the farmhouse is where it's really happening. And the other thing is though, is there is a internet like server in there, which pumps out crazy high EMFs.
Oh God, yeah.
Because it was to the point where like after like an hour, I was like, I gotta go. Like I'm getting a headache everywhere. It was at least, it was red in every single building. And I'm like, this is also amplifying all of it.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. It looks intense.
Because there was more that came through. We definitely cut out a lot of the evidence that we got there, like because we had like a student who like suicided himself there, which then was public safety actually confirmed because
oh, no kidding.
Which that's why public safety here is pretty cool because they're like, yeah, we can't talk about like it's not publicized, but yeah, that happened. Like when I told him, he was like shocked.
Yeah,
because I'm like, someone killed themselves here, right? And they were like, Like he just was like dumbfounded, and then he's like, yeah, totally.
Wow.
But that came through. I had the age right. Like that'll happen. Like we cut most of that out because also we cut out the school completely because given it, like they were being a little ridiculous, which I'll get off mic, but I don't know. It was fun. All right. So it wouldn't be you coming on the podcast unless we talk about this one crossover. Katie Maloney Schwartz from Vanderpump Rules follows you. You've been on her podcast.
Yep.
We have to talk about this.
Okay.
Because as you know, Vanderpump Rules is what I got my theater degree in. Like I wrote my fucking thesis on it. It's the greatest reality show ever made. I saw that and I was like, this is a weird synchronicity because that's so my paranormal world and my reality TV, like they do not cross like that. Mm-hmm. So like, what was that experience like? What was it like talking to Katie?
She's very nice. I had, to be honest, I had no idea who she was until like a day before the podcast.
Really?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Oh my
So
God.
she reached out to me on Instagram and she was like, hey, I have a podcast every Halloween. I like to talk about spooky stuff. I was wondering if you'd be interested in going on. I think she found me through TikTok.
Yeah.
And I didn't even click on the page. I just saw the message and I was just like, yeah, sure. Podcast invitation. Sure. I was like, what day, what time? I agreed to it. And then that was that. And then like a week and a half went by, or a couple days before the actual podcast. I'm like, I should do some research and at least just like figure out who this person is. So I know who I'm talking
Katie's
to.
got an interesting history on the show.
Well, I didn't even know about the show or anything. Yeah. And I went back to our messages and I clicked on her profile and then I saw the page and I saw the followers and her show. And I was just like, holy shit, like what have I just gotten myself into? How did you find me out of the sea of creators and the sea of paranormal content
She lives
creators?
in Los Angeles. Like she's West Coast. She's from Utah. She does not come East. Like that's the thing that's so crazy about it.
Yeah, I was a mess on that podcast. Katie, if you hear this and you ever have another episode, please invite me back. I'll be so much more
Katie,
alive.
I'm sorry I talk shit about you. I'm a stand-up comic.
I was beyond petrified when I finally got onto the podcast because I then realized I wish I wouldn't have looked because I think it would have gone more like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a normal conversation and not like I'm talking to the super.
Was she intense? Because this is the thing about Katie. The whole time I watched it, I mean, I've seen that show front to back at least 6 or 7 times. I hated Katie for the longest time. She reminds me of someone in my family I dislike, and she reminds me of myself when I wasn't in therapy. So I just was like, I don't know. I didn't like her. Rewatching it now, and after I don't know, I've been in therapy. I've also know more about her and what was happening at that time. I'm kind of like, Katie's the one I respect the most out of all of them.
Yeah.
Which I find really funny. And that happened literally this summer.
Yeah, I didn't even know who she was until I looked into more about what she does in the show and stuff. And then I got on the podcast and I was a fucking nervous wreck because
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's not every day you start out as this little tiny YouTuber and now you have people like that knocking on your door wanting to talk to you.
Yeah.
It just felt like weird to me. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm just some guy who ghost hunts.
Was anyone else that was like Stassi there? Because
No.
That's the thing about Bravo. They're, especially the Vanderpump Rules people, they're very paranormal. Like they would do tarot cards on there. They would ghost hunt. They would Stassi got a exorcism by this crazy woman in West Hollywood. They called themselves the Witches of WeHo. Like they are so spooky. And that's one of the things I loved about it.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that at all. I got on the podcast and all these thoughts are going through my head, and you can, if you listen to it, I don't know if she has a video version of it out. I know she has the audio version out. If there is a video version out, you can clearly see how nervous I am. And I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And then finally, towards the end of the podcast, she asked me something that was a little more personal and it allowed me to kind of, I guess, go in depth and evaluate a little bit more. And then at that point, she's like, okay, so you do have a little bit of depth about you. And I'm like, if only you fucking knew. If you didn't make me so nervous, you would have gotten way better answers out of me than this. Because I was being very surface. I didn't realize she's shady like that. Well, I mean, I could see it. To be fair, I was being very surface level, very shallow, short answers, not really going elaborate because I was nervous as fuck. You know what I mean? I'm 2 years into being an investigator. I woke up to 10 million fucking views on TikTok. I don't know how to take this. And now I have Katie Vanderpump wanting to do an interview with me. I'm trying not to implode. Yeah. And then finally I get the one question that like lets me show you, okay, yeah, I do think about this stuff a little bit deeper. And no, she's cool. We still follow each other and she likes my stuff. And
have you met any other Vanderpump people?
No, just her. Nope, it was just her. And it's weird because that was the last spooky podcast that she did.
Really?
She hasn't done any more since. I was the last person to go on there.
Well, Katie, you can have me on. Vanderpump Rules runs deep with me.
I think that was, when was that? That was 2022?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last time. Because I asked her the following year, I was like, are you looking for guests? If you need somebody, I sent her a few pages and like, she never did anything with it. So I think she just stopped doing podcast stuff.
She is very spooky though.
Yeah, I told her if I ever go out there, I want to ghost hunt with her. And she said she's down, so...
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah.
I'll be right there. I know places in LA too. Like I used to live there. Like I know some good places out there.
Yeah, there's a handful of people out there that definitely want to do investigations with us. It's just a matter of actually getting out there.
I mean, you can fly Southwest at BWI.
Yeah.
I know there used to be an Alaskan Airlines flight that left like twice a day that I used to always take. But like, I don't know, you would probably drive.
I would most likely drive.
When it comes to LA, like I could do the drive, but like I gotta fly.
I want to see. I've never driven cross country like that.
Really?
Yeah, the first I've been is Iowa.
Yeah,
so it's like kind of in the middle.
Yeah. See, as much as I love Maryland, I am a desert person. Like Southern Nevada is like my happy spot. Like Eastern Desert California, like that whole area is like I love it. And Arizona is the Florida of the West Coast.
Is it?
Yeah, so I hate Florida. I hate Arizona.
I like that it's drier out there. It's not as humid.
Yeah. It's hot as fuck, though.
Yeah.
It is hot as fuck. All right, wrapping up.
Okay.
I want to talk about where do you want to investigate? What are your dream paranormal investigating locations?
I want to go to Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
You've never been?
I haven't even done the photo tour there. I've never stepped foot in that building. I'm
literally going to do a photo tour with like one of the professors here.
Really?
Yeah. Like we haven't like planned. Oh my God, we're gonna have to get you to come.
Dude, I want to come.
Like, and you're also a photographer. So
I've never been.
Yeah.
I've seen so many pictures. I've watched videos. I have never been. I want to go so
interesting. And also, I feel like there's not a lot of stuff there anymore.
As far as
like
videos or
hauntings. Like I just felt like there's stuff there, but I feel like they get so like they're used to people that they're just kind of not engaging much anymore.
I could see that. A place with a lot of foot traffic. It's like why would you get excited about it when you see people every single day?
Because I think it's their new reality. They're like, oh, these people coming in.
Mm-hmm. So, and all the TV shows that have been there. I'm sure they've gotten glimpses of all the different personalities from TV, and now they just see a camera and they're like, fuck that guy. Don't go talk to him.
They're like, we're good.
Yeah.
That's what I got. So I almost think going as a photographer and not as a parent. I mean, I'm going to have my spirit box with me.
Yeah.
That's already a given. But it's like, I almost wonder if something else will, like, they'll be a little bit more active because they're like, okay, these people are not like actively investigating, but I also feel like they're going to be like, oh God, he's an investigator. We can feel his energy.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we almost put off that, like a scent or something to them on that side. Like they know who actually investigates and can see, hear, and feel them, and then who is just oblivious to it. So they're going to pick up on it. I have a feeling.
What other places, do you have places in Maryland you want to investigate?
Rosewood. Where's that at? Rosewood Hospital. It's, what college is it? The college bought the property and they're slowly turning it into like a...
Oh, is it? Oh, I know where you're talking about. Is it in like Howard County?
I think so. I think it's UMD that bought it. Maybe. It's like somewhere central Maryland.
Yeah.
Massive property. Ironically, when I was a surveyor for 2 years, I helped survey that property. So I've been there before legally. Yeah, I was allowed to be there. Security is a fucking nightmare there. Even when you were legally allowed to be there, they had a sheriff with a shotgun in the back of his car parked on the hill and just watching us. And we were allowed to be there. We were employed by the state to be there. So like as far as trying to get in there through other means, not happening. Everything is cut down around it. Everything is big, wide open fields. You will get spotted from a mile away.
Yeah.
But there's no way to get in there, and they're tearing it down slowly. But Rosewood, incredibly haunted. Crazy.
Do you know
stories.
people that have been in there that have experiences?
One person, and he was only in there for an hour. He snuck on the property and got into one building for like an hour before they caught him. And he said that while he was in there, he was hearing stuff, seeing stuff, feeling stuff. It was a mental institution.
Oof.
So And it was huge. It was Letchworth style as far as like multiple buildings and separate cottages.
I will never go back to Letchworth. That building, I'm like so happy it's decaying because I'm like, that was a whew.
Letchworth was a nightmare.
Yeah, but, that place was rough.
Very, very similar experience.
Yeah.
Baltimore Hotel.
Yes.
I want to get in there.
I'll tell you this off mic, but I know one of the PR people there.
Yeah.
I've been trying.
Yeah.
I have been trying.
I'm going to try and get us into the Horse You Came In On saloon too.
And we could, oh my God, we could see Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, I have.
Because you're kind of a goth kid.
I'm a metalhead.
Yeah, I can see,
metalhead for sure.
I can see some crossover.
But I know a few people that work there. I'm going to try and get us into there. I want to do more Baltimore City stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's where all the haunts are.
Well, when I was doing the art exhibition on Blaze Star, we went to the 2 o'clock club actually on the block. It was me and Kathy, the historian from Ethereal Anarchy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit in there.
Oh, I believe it.
Like there was, and I got the feeling because there was a lot of like bootlegging there. They were like, we don't know if these people are cool, but I feel like once you get in there and can open, that place is going to open right up.
Just bring a little airplane bottle of some whiskey or something and set it down as an offering.
Well, I think also because I used to be a stripper. I used to be a dancer. I had to get on stage because we went there like 2 p.m. on a Sunday and met the owner. And I was like, can I just get on stage and do a twirl? Like, it's just, I got to do it. And I think once I did that, I could tell like they kind of were like, oh, he's one of us. Yeah. And then, but we had to leave. And I think that was when they opened up to me. But I would love to go back.
Yeah. There's so many haunted historic places in Maryland. It's hard to narrow it down to just like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
What's that ship in the
Constellation?
Yeah.
That was on Taps, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Yep. I want to get in there. Just have a long list.
Ooh, do you have any international places? I want to go to the District 6 Museum in Cape Town, South Africa. Yeah. I've been there. That place, the whole story of it, that was right when I was just awakening to the paranormal. And I was like, I could tell then that was like, this place is massively haunted.
What's that one asylum in Japan?
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's a real place.
Yes.
And that's like the real location that they filmed.
Yes.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's that place. I'm pretty sure it's in the same area.
I want to go to Japan so bad. Japan and Korea to ghost hunt so badly.
Maybe it's Korea. I know it's one of the two, but
there's also another one in Indonesia.
There's a hospital.
Yeah.
And there was like a whole, is it Ganjiam?
I think so.
Ganjiam Asylum or something?
It's in Hong Kong.
Is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure it's in Hong Kong.
We'll have to look it up after this.
Yeah, don't quote me on this. But
I think it's called Ganjiam Asylum.
Yeah.
A movie was filmed in the actual asylum that the whole story's based on. Like, that's the real location.
I'm sure the ghosts are like, what the fuck's happening?
That place has got to be so haunted. And the amount of stories that have come out about that place and the hundreds of people that have died in there. And just, I've heard so many horror stories from people who have actually been in the hospital. So, yeah. That and Aokigahara Forest.
Oh, yes. The Suicide Forest.
Yeah. Just to see.
This is like a weird, like, ethical thing. I would love to go to a concentration camp.
Yeah.
And investigate. Like, I would be totally respectful. I have been to one, and it was like, I could tell they were present, but also it's such a hollowed ground. And I'm just like, I just want to go in there and be like, okay, do you guys need my help? Like, what's going on? Because I feel like there's stuff there that needs and like anytime I say that, people are like, oh, you can't go there and invest. Oh my God, that's so bad. And I'm like, no,
I think there's a difference between going and investigating a place to help spirits and then going to a place and investigating it for content.
Yeah, I would not film that. That's a red
I feel
line.
Like that's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
Like if you were to just go by yourself or with a friend and like no cameras, you're just there to communicate and help. That's one thing because you're trying to actually do something for these people. But if you're going there shoving cameras in their faces and trying to film and get reactions, it's like that's when it kind of becomes tasteless, in my opinion. And you're just trying to use a very sensitive topic to gain clicks and views.
Yeah, because I'm sure you put that, Oshawa is investigating, people are going to click, but then it's like, that's douchey.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anybody that wouldn't click on a video that has the word concentration camp in the title, but at the same time, you're going to catch a lot of fucking heat for that. So don't film it if you do it. Yeah. Just investigate it.
I get that. All right, wrapping up. What is your favorite John Waters movie?
Crybaby.
Really?
I mean, that's like the only one that I can remember off the top of my head that I've seen.
I do get down with Crybaby. That's interesting with Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Oof, that's good. All right, where can we find you? This has been I got 2 episodes out of you, so
Yeah.
I knew I would. I knew once
Hell
we started
yeah.
talking, I was like, we've had a lot of paranormal shit happen while we're podcasting. So
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Everything's under Charm City Paranormal.
I will include links in the episode description.
Yeah, just Google us and we'll pop right up. We're on the first page.
Yeah, excellent. This has been fun. All right, beaming up to the UFO.